John didn't just start playing the blues out of the blue. He's been listening to the blues for years and loving it. He knows all about the blues and where it comes from.
Going away this summer, and I won't be back California. Oh, yeah. Going away this summer, won't be back California. How long have it been, children, since you've been home? Late last night, people, laying down across my bed.
Blues comes from basically down south, way back in history. Slaves, you know, picking in the fields, doing stuff like that. They weren't allowed to talk, you know, talk to each other. So what they did was they sang to each other and stuff like that. That's how they got their messages across to each other. And after that evolved into a music gospel, okay? And then blues came from it.
Blues has been around for many, many years, and it keeps on changing and growing. So many other kinds of music have grown out of the blues, such as jazz and soul and rock. John loves it all. When he plays in a club or a concert, the audience picks up on how much John enjoys the music, and they love it. He almost always brings the house down.
I love being in blues clubs. I love it, you know, just everything about it. It's so crowded. So I like the little small hallways. And the big places I like too, if they're real crowded, you know. I like real crowded places. There's a certain magic there. That's part of the reason I like it. There's something different there. And it definitely can bring people together, and it definitely does. It's something different. I like the people, the reaction of the people, the reaction of the band. You know, there is a reaction in the band when you're playing, you know, and you play something good. Like the band will egg it on, they'll come louder, or all of a sudden you'll be getting it real loud, and all of a sudden you hear, you know, boom, and it's real quiet, and you play something real sweet.
John plays what he feels, but you have to be good to be able to play what you feel. John knows the harmonica in and out, upside down and backwards. He's self-taught. Now, that doesn't mean he learned all by himself, locked up in his room with nothing but a harmonica.
There's certain licks I learned. There's certain, like, you know, like if after I play with at a concert, there's another harmonica player with me. They take me backstage and they tell me, you know, this is what you could do instead of doing this, or you could play this certain thing, or, you know, check this out. This is a certain technique, and, you know, that's pretty much how I learned a lot of stuff. And they treat me very nice, you know. That's if I didn't have any help from any musicians, I wouldn't be where I am now. The help from them are just incredible. They always help me.
They say the blues will never die. And if young blues musicians like John Chrisley Jr. keep coming up, then the blues will keep on.
Well, what a kids into these days? Video games, computers, and by all means, music. The young man you're about to meet is certainly no different. He loves music, but instead of tuning up with the school band, he's turning heads in the world of rhythm and blues. And as our Sidney Kohara reports, look out Stevie Wonder, here comes little John Chrisley.
Some call it a blues harp, others call it a mouth organ. You probably know it as the harmonica. Now, when you were young, you may have picked it up in anticipation, only to put it down in frustration because you just couldn't play. But give this unusual instrument to a young Northern California fella, and it becomes magic in his hands and music to your ears.
His name is John Chrisley, Jr., known as Little John on the stage. 2 years ago, Dad took him to a blues concert where, according to John, it was love at first sight.
You always hear guitar, you always hear piano or saxophone or something, and the harmonica was foreign to me. It was foreign to my ears, so that's pretty much why I was mostly interested in it. It was a different instrument.
It was almost immediate. Bought him a harmonica in a book, and he was playing a couple of notes out of the book, and then pretty soon the next day it was a complete song.
And the next thing you know, the kid from Morgan Hill was hitting the concert trail. Today, at age 14, John's played all over the U.S. to crowds of 10,000. It's featured in this year's Hohner Harmonica Artist Calendar and is even listed in the Blues Hall of Fame archives in Mississippi. Quite a few accomplishments for this good-looking ninth grader. Between sets, John's always a part of the conversation, listening and learning from the experiences of older musicians. His mom thinks this association is good for her son.
I think he's got a wonderful maturity with adults. He can talk about anything, any place, with anybody, and yet when he's with a group of kids, he's just a 14-year-old kid.
The Sacramento-based band Little Charlie and the Nightcats first spotted Little John when he was 12. Harmonica player and lead vocalist Rick Estrin thinks the teen has a lot of potential.
His enthusiasm is really tremendous, and he has the feeling for the blues, so I think he could be as good as, it's just limitless really how good he could get.
I want to go as far as possible. As far as being known goes, I want a lot of people to know me, as many as possible.
So blues fans, remember that name, Little John Chrisley. You just may be seeing the music industry's next superstar of sound. In Sacramento for Weeknight, I'm Sidney Kohara.
Sidney is right. Little John is frequently in concert around San Jose and the Bay Area, as well as here in Sacramento, and recently made his recording debut on the album titled Billy Satellite, Rockin' Down the Highway. It's due to hit the music stores sometime in March. You like music?
Of course.
I do too. I always have. And I did try my hands once at the cello and the piano, and I sing, as you may know, whenever I can. But even after years of lessons, it is hard to get through just one piece without a little faltering. And next TGI4, a young man who has no such problem. Take it, John. What does it take to become a great musician? Hours and hours of practice, you say. Understanding parents, talent, and drive to excel. Well, that is all true, and our guest today, harmonica great Little John Chrisley Jr., is a good example of all of those things wrapped up in one 14-year-old person. Welcome, John. Why do they call you Little?
My age. Everybody else is older than me. I'm usually not allowed in the clubs anyways, you know, but my dad sneaks me in.
Well, and you've gotten to play with some of the best blues greats. Tell us about some of them.
Well, there's John Lee Hooker, there's James Cotton, the